Namaste. Welcome to our Friday TGIF class, and this is a yin yoga class that uses long holding postures to open up the hips, the spine, the shoulders, the mind. So we are going to start today laying on our backs. So make sure you have 3 blocks. You can have them at the top of your mat. The blanket goes across the middle of the mat for your knees later on. And we're just going to straighten the legs and lay back in Shavasana. So palms up means you're receptive and open to the possibilities of this practice and of life. And then maybe rock the head side to side slowly to relax your neck. And then pause in the center and make sure you can feel your shoulder blades on the mat. And just let your legs straighten. And if you feel any pinching in your low back, put your feet flat, lift your hips and flatten your back on the mat, and then straighten the legs again. That should help. All right, let's just close the eyes and start to bring our attention into the body. So just noticing what you're feeling at the moment without judging it. We practice self-observation without judgment in this class. So just notice that you're breathing. Scan your body gently to notice if you're holding anything in or up. See if you can start to really surrender to the earth. This is our earth practice, working on the lower body, the earthly chakras, working on the hips, where emotional stress and tension can get trapped. So feel the earth below, shoulder blades, hips, back of the legs, heels, back of the arms, back of the hands, and of course the back of your head. Just see how much you can relax right now. Feeling the layers of holding just starting to melt away, kind of like when you're drifting off to sleep. Let your stomach relax, your shoulders and chest, your heart. Now we're going to place our hands just gently on the stomach. And we're going to practice this diaphragmatic breathing that is super relaxing for the body. And it's something that I just learned yesterday that I'd like to teach you today. So what we're going to do is breathe into the diaphragm, into the belly, and let the belly rise. We're going to hold it for a few moments and then slowly just let the breath fall out again. And then begin again. We'll let the belly expand into the hands towards the sky. Hold the breath. And then slowly just relax. Now I want you to do that several times, just practicing pushing the air down and up towards the sky. Holding it and then just releasing. A few more times on your own. So I actually learned this yesterday at my physical therapy appointment. From what we normally do is that we're holding it at the top and really holding it for a moment there and then letting the breath fall out. And he says it's a really good way to release deep stress and tension and holding in the body and mind. And he says athletes use this. When you see them before a big game, laying on the ground like this, that's what they're doing. They're breathing. All right. Now let's breathe into the ribs a few times next. And you can put your hands there if you'd like to feel the ribs expand out to the sides. And breathe out, just relax. No holding here. Good. Really feel the side ribs stretch, and as you breathe out, relax. So we're opening the intercostal muscles, waking up our third chakra, the Manipura. Anything below the heart center is considered an earthly chakra. So this is when we step into our power in our life. We stand up for ourselves, we set boundaries, we move into a life of our choosing, not someone else's. And now let's move into the heart. You can place one of your hands there if you'd like, feeling the heart rise and fall, or both hands. Moving our breath into the heart chakra. So not the physical heart, but the center of the chest. And feeling the chest lifting and falling with your breath. And a few more rounds like that, nice and slow, nice and steady. Love and compassion for ourselves. This is where it begins, with self-compassion. And then we'll be more fully able to practice loving compassion towards others. But it begins here with ourselves. Now let's fill the lungs like a glass. You can have one hand on your belly, one on your chest if you'd like. Fill the belly, fill the ribs, and fill the chest. Pause. Empty chest, empty ribs, belly draws back, and pause. Now continue like that at your own pace. Filling your lungs like a glass, pausing, emptying your lungs like a glass. Belly draws back, pause. Now find a rhythm that feels good for you today. Every day is different, depending on what's going on in your life. Beautiful. Now we're going to stretch the arms up and over the head and point the toes so you feel really long on the earth. Just like you're just waking up, and you might even get a yawn going here. Just a natural response to stretch. Now bring your feet to the floor and give your knees a squeeze into your chest. Good. Rock side to side a little bit, massaging your lower back. Maybe for the first time today. Beautiful. Now we're going to start with a spinal twist. We're going to bring the arms to a T and let the knees float over to the right side of your mat. So it's really best for your anatomy if the knees are straight up from the hips and the feet are straight under the knees, and then the arms in a T. But feel free to use your props if you feel like you would benefit from using a prop maybe between the knees if they're not touching, or under the knees. If it's just feeling like your left shoulder is way off the ground, you could place a block under your both knees, and then maybe after a couple minutes, you could take that block out if it feels like it's creating space for you. All right, arms in a T, palms up, and let's just relax here for the first minute. And you can do the same thing we did at the very beginning of class, where you just gently turn your head side to side if that feels good for your neck. Now don't forget about your breathing. And just breathe where you feel like you have access. And really the idea in yin is to let go completely of the muscle, the holding, the gripping of the bone. And then just soften. Even if it's strong in the beginning, if you do that, you'll start to feel the intensity start to melt away. So we're targeting the place where the bones meet. It's called ligament. And fascia, which is stronger tissue that's plastic in nature. So when the muscle relaxes, that kind of tissue gets the pressure. It gets the stress on the tissue that makes it stronger and makes it feel more flexible. So you might feel this in your left chest and arm. You might feel this in your left waist, your spine. Notice where the sensation is. And then softly breathe in and out of those spaces. So it's like you're bringing consciousness into those areas that maybe are asleep. And as you breathe into the spaces, using your mind to focus there, that tissue begins to wake up. It begins to let go, soften, and open. So we'll stay for one more minute. We're just doing 3 minutes on each side. Okay, now let's turn the palms down, hold the floor, bring your knees up, maybe one at a time, and just pause in the center. Give your knees a squeeze, rock side to side again. This is a good way to start the day in general, or even to end the day. Now let's bring the arms to a T, bring the knees over to the left, and again, knees are stacked, feet are under the knees are straight up from the hips. So we're creating 90-degree angles between the torso and the thighs, between the thighs and the lower legs. Now, if you'd like, you can also use your left hand to hold the right knee down if that's helpful, or the block in between the knees or under the knees. Good. Now you can turn your head side to side, just working on your cervical spine, or have your gaze in just one direction, up, maybe to the right, towards your right hand. Now make sure you're breathing. It doesn't have to be a big, deep breath. Just as long as you can regulate that breath. You can move it in a calm, smooth, consistent manner. Now this is a 90-minute class, but I'm going to create this practice so at the 60-minute mark, if you only want to watch 60 minutes of this, then you can stop there with your Shavasana, and I'll guide you through that. But if you have time, you can finish the class with all the extra postures after the 60 minutes is over. Or even come back and do the additional 30 minutes later. All right, now we have 1 more minute here, 3-minute holds. That's the shortest usually for a yin pose. Just breathe. Remember, the breath is pushing outward from the inside of your body, creating space, massaging tissue and organs. All right, now we're going to move back to center again. So maybe one knee comes up at a time. The other comes up to meet it. Give your knees a squeeze and gently rock side to side. Notice how your body feels now. Beautiful. Let's bring the legs straight up in the air, pointing and flexing. Rolling the ankles. The arms can be by your sides, palms up. Or if you feel like it's a little bit too intense, you can bend the knees towards your chest. Or hold on behind your legs with your hands. And just roll your ankles in slow, circles, and notice how intense that can be. When you go slow, it's easy to move fast, right? You start feeling your calf muscles, maybe some pops in the ankle joints. And this will strengthen that joint. You can do it with your wrists also. All right, let's pause here, hold behind the legs. We're gonna rock up to seated. Come to seated meditation for a moment, just to see how you're feeling now. Okay, so your feet can be one in front of the other, ankles can be crossed, or maybe a half lotus with one foot set on top of the opposite thigh. Hands can be up or in your lap when we're in this pose throughout this class, or on your thighs, on your knees. And just close your eyes and tune into how you feel after the breathing and a little bit of stretching. And then place your hands at your heart center, touching the thumbs against the breastbone. This is Anjali Mudra, the hand position of Namaste, or prayer. I'd like you to set an intention for your class. So in this class, we use the law of attraction, which means that we're understanding that where the mind goes, the energy flows and it grows. And I'll give an example of that, a couple examples later. So just play with it. If you're not familiar, just think about something you want or that you need, something you desire in your life, and ask for it. And it's as simple as that. And then you say thank you for it. This is what charges what you want, is that you're saying thank you for it as if you've already received it. And you believe you deserve it too, right? We have to work on our self-worth and know that we believe that we deserve to get what we want. And then hands to the forehead to touch. Thoughts will be there. They're not who you are. Just watch, be the witness to your thinking. Hands back to the heart center. Let's practice Om. So it's just O and with your lips touching. Feel that vibration in your throat. Deep breath in. Om. Beautiful. Let's come forward to hands and knees. So make sure your blocks are at the top of your mat. Knees are on the blanket, and the blanket's wider than the mat. The hands are flat, fingers spread out like rays of sunshine, like my teacher used to say, middle finger forward. So this is good for arthritis or just bringing energy into the hands. Knees are hip distance, so you're a stable table. Okay, now we're going to start our cats and cows, which is something also that the physical therapist recommended, right? We tilt the tail up, we lift through the chin on the inhale, and we round the back, tail under, chin towards the chest as we exhale. And just back and forth, nice and slow. Inhaling, pausing. Exhaling, rounding the back, belly draws back, and pausing. So same breath we learned laying on our backs. Now we're adding this movement to the breath. So move at your own pace. Try to really incorporate the pauses there. That means you're in control of the movement. Nice, steady breaths. Good. Now today we're going to start with swan pose. So we're going to slide the right knee to the right wrist, move the right toes past that left knee over to the left, and then just let your right hip fall to the right side of your mat. So the right hip's down on the ground now. Then you can pull your left knee forward, so it's pointing out even with the side of your mat, and the shin with the top of the mat. So you might feel like you're falling to the right when you do that with your front foot. And if you'd like, you can take blocks and go out to the right. And that's called deer pose. Okay. Otherwise, you can put the blocks in front of you. If your right leg is relaxed and you feel comfortable, you can start moving towards the front of your mat, the top of your mat. And this is swan. This is an outer rotation. Just remember that in yin yoga, we have to make sure we're relaxing the muscle before we start making it stronger. So we're going to work at a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Just medium pressure is what we're looking for in this class. So we can hold it for these longer periods of time. All right, so we're starting with 7 minutes here today with this one. This is for your IT band on the outside of your right thigh, your piriformis that goes across the bum. It's just such a good stretch for warrior two, for triangle, for side angle posture. It's just going to help your body open up, especially your lower back. This is really good for the lumbar spine. All right, find the place that feels like sweet discomfort and just relax. Okay, second principle, once you find that edge, 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 is to be still. So if you can't be still, it's a sign either that you're going too far or maybe not far enough. You're getting easily distracted. Try to tune into the breath once you find your stillness, and let the breath be your anchor into the present. So several months ago, way before I needed to choose countertops, I was just looking at the different styles and the different colors, and I found this countertop that I just fell in love with. It was very expensive, and I didn't think I would be able to afford it at that time. And I had brought home a little square of it, right, a little sample, and it has just been sitting on my tables around the house since then. That was probably 2 or 3 months ago. Well, then yesterday I went in to choose countertops because my kitchen is now installed, and it's time to choose the counters and get them out here to measure and all that. And I saw that countertop but didn't realize that it was the same one that I had brought home. And she told me that they actually have a sale on it right now that brings it down to the price that I wanted to spend for that countertop. So I ended up ordering it. And this morning I was looking around the house, and I found that little square, and I flipped it over, and I realized that it was the one that I had chosen yesterday at the store. And I just thought about the law of attraction, right? And vision boards and things like that. So when we're looking at something all the time and thinking about what we want, from a place of openness, we can really start to draw into our life those things that we need, those things that we want. So this is the law of attraction. All right, let's keep breathing. Nice steady breaths in and out through the nose. Using your props, keeping in mind those things that you want to draw into your life, and just noticing, where are my thoughts going? And if they're going to a negative space, that's okay. You can say cancel, or you can just come back to your breath, ignoring that thought, or replace it with a positive thought. I am healthy, I am strong. I deserve to get what I want in this life. Okay, nice, slow, steady breaths. Now, if it gets too easy, this posture, and you're all the way down over your front leg, and you need more intensity, that's when you can start adjusting your back leg a little bit at a time. Slide that knee back until you find that 5 again, and then pause and breathe and wait and see what happens. So we're really learning to listen to the body instead of telling the body how far to go. We're working at that 5. So really it's just tuning in and honoring what you're feeling, and not letting your ego get in the way and push you beyond this place that's safe and healing. Eventually your back knee may turn all the way down once your front hip is open enough. And that's pretty much the full expression of this pose. So for those of you that need even more than that, which is fine, there are a few people that might be in that place, you can start walking your elbows towards that front foot, and that's going to create more of a twist. in your hip, which is what we're doing, right? Outer rotation is a twist. So keep on breathing. We have 2 minutes to go. And please check in with your muscles. Make sure the muscles stay relaxed. This is the work of yin yoga. Other styles of yoga really do work on the muscle rather than the joint tissue. And that's when the muscle would be engaged. That's an active practice rather than passive. All right, now let's begin to rise nice and slow, just lifting your chest away from your thigh, lean to your right and bring both legs out in front of you. Turn back this way. And just let the legs stretch. See if you can close your eyes and just tune into how it feels right now. Without judgment, right? The highest form of spiritual practice, self-observation without judgment. And notice the buzzing of the right leg compared to the left, right? The lightness, tingling, whatever it might feel like. Let's put the feet flat. Let the knees tip side to side for windshield wipers. Nice and slow and steady. Now, next is a shoulder opener, but it might be too strong, so I'll give you an alternative. Reverse table, fingers can face forward, sideways, back, what feels good. Feet are hip distance, and we just gently lift and squeeze. Now, if that's too strong, which is not unusual, you can go to your back for bridge. You can lay on your back, put your feet close to your hips, hip distance, arms by your sides, palms down, squeeze your bum, and lift the hips up to the sky instead, which is also going to open up your front body. Try to push your shoulders down to lift the chest if you're in bridge. If you're in reverse table, you can let your head hang back if that feels good. Locking the arms and legs. Squeeze. Keep the knees over the ankles in both poses. Now, when you come down, do it slowly, one vertebrae at a time, or just placing your hips on the ground. And we'll bring ourselves back to seated and shake out the hands. Roll the shoulders backwards a little bit. And notice how it feels now. Okay, let's take a cleansing breath. That means in through the nose, out through the mouth with a sigh. Use the sound Nada Yoga. Breathe in. All right, back to cats and cows. Bring your blocks forward just in case you need them. And just start to move your body again, up and down, side to side. What feels good right now? This is what we're tuning into with Yin Yoga. What does it feel like? And this is what makes it such a meditative practice. And this is why certain people are drawn to this practice, to a slower, more meditative space on their yoga mat. Both are good. It just depends on what you need. All right, now we're going to slide the left knee forward, left toes to the right, drop the hip to the mat, second side of swan. Remember, we're going to pull the right knee up first, and that'll give us some space to bring the left foot forward. All right, so 90 degrees with the front leg. You can fold forward if there's space, you feel like your body is relaxed, your leg is relaxed, or remember you can go out to the left for more of a deer pose if that's better. Okay? So choose your position, take your time, don't rush yourself. Keep breathing. Watch your mind. Feel your breath. Listen to your body today. So I have a business coach, a new coach this year, started in January, and he teaches joyful productivity. And he has so many good messages about taking pressure off of ourselves, about time management, right? So we schedule our time so we never have to rush or hurry. We use our Google Calendar in our phone, on our computer. Maybe you're more of a person that writes things down and that's productive for you. But really learning how to slow down, right? This is what we're doing in Yin Yoga too. So he talked the other day, and his message was about loosening up the time strains on our goals. So if you have like a goal to write a book in a year, right, to not put so much pressure on ourselves for these things that we're trying to get done in our lives, to create space around them for creativity to flow. It's very similar to what we're doing here, right? We're creating space within the body for creativity to flow so we can see clearly. We can be more productive, more joyful. Just think about that right now in your schedule and in your time management. If you're giving yourself space for certain things to happen, right? It's like having the savings account, $1,000 or $2,000 in the account just for emergencies, right? We're creating space in our lives just in case things don't go the way that we plan. So we never have to hurry, which causes so much stress when we have to rush from place to place. So think about that as you relax into this pose, as you create space in your body and mind, focusing on your breathing right now. Is this something that I need to work on? Maybe this is something you're already really good at. So as you go into this pose today, remember you can go further. If it gets too easy, come out a little bit. As it gets too strong, this is giving ourselves permission to change, right? Not feeling like we have to stay in one place. We're halfway there. Keep breathing. Keep focusing your mind on your body and breath. Staying at your edge, sweet discomfort's the goal. 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, now we're going to slowly begin to rise up, leaning to the left. Bring both legs out front. Just let the legs stretch again for a moment. And see if you can feel any surge of energy, information maybe, moving through that left leg compared to the right, the one you just worked. Tingling, lightness, heat. Okay, let's place the feet flat and let the knees tip side to side when you're ready. No rush. And then either a second reverse table, right? Hands and feet flat, lifting and squeezing, maybe dropping the head back, or you can go into another bridge pose, laying back, squeezing the butt, using your glutes to lift and bridge, and in reverse table too, strengthening your glutes. Arms can be by your sides, pushing down in bridge, or you can clasp your hands if you prefer. Good, let's just hold for a few breaths, see what feels good today. Opening up the front body and the shoulders. And when you're done, let's meet again in the seated position. Shake out the hands, roll the shoulders, whatever feels good after your pose. Both at once or one at a time. All right, let's take another cleansing breath. Breathe in. Good. Now we're going to move into our opposite direction of the hips, which is inner rotation. So grab your blocks. You want one block at the top of the head, most likely sideways like that. And then you want blocks underneath you, and those can be stacked on top of each other, placed in front of the blanket or on their side. And if you only have two, maybe just one sideways. And then let's come back to our table and start to move the body around, hands and knees, cats and cows. Up and down, nice and slow. Remember, you can go side to side. You can make circles with your tail and head. What feels good? That's what we're tuning into. Beautiful. So now we'll work the inner edge of the hip. So the inside edge, we just worked the IT band, right? So look where your hands are. It's good to be right on top of the blocks. Put your elbows where the hands were. So that's going to keep your shoulders over your elbows and your hips over your knees. Slide the knees out to the side until you find those blocks with your chest or your ribs. You can always adjust those blocks to be more comfortable. But see, you want your hips right between your knees. And then the other blocks for your forehead, whatever level feels good. Now just let your legs and feet relax to start this posture. Close your eyes, take some sweet, slow breaths in and out through the nose. Just take your time here. Try that diaphragmatic breathing again. See if you can breathe low. Maybe hold it for a moment and breathe out, relax. You can also do the full Dirga Pranayama, filling and emptying like a glass. Now this is going to be a 6-minute hold and then 1 minute without the props for a total of 7, just like our last posture. So start out easy in the pose in all of the postures because you can always make it stronger. And it usually intensifies as you hold it longer. So just relax here, see what happens. There's no rule book here. We just want to listen and honor what we're feeling. So we're working on the adductors now and the inner thighs. Those are the muscles that pull your knees closer together. And we're working on the groin where the root chakra lies. And this is your earth chakra, your foundation of all your other chakras, your groundedness in your life. Now the meridians that we're stimulating on the inner thighs are the kidney and liver channels. So we're getting this tissue lubricated by stimulating these meridians. We're also feeding chi into the organ itself and balancing out the energy flowing inside those channels. Okay, now, if you feel like you need more after this first minute, you can separate your feet wider, maybe even turning your toes out like a frog. To make it easier, toes pointed and closer together. So notice how it feels. Let that guide your practice, the sensation. Keep on breathing. So make sure you're not using your shoulders or your elbows here. Try to let the blocks support you so you don't even need your arms really. We want to keep the shoulders relaxed in these long holds so we're not stressing out the upper back. The breath is going to help your body relax into these poses so they can open easier. So we try to keep breathing softly in and out. And it is an indicator. If you're going too far, you might not be able to breathe smoothly and calmly. So just notice that. We have a couple minutes left and then we'll take those blocks out. Remember, we're watching the mind, listening to the body, and feeling the breath today. And that's called pratyahara, as we bring the senses into the body. And really pay attention to our inner space. Now, you are welcome to keep the blocks there for the next minute, but if you're ready to take on a little bit of a challenge, you can take the blocks out, set them aside, and then stay on the elbows. You can do what feels good with your neck. Just make sure you're breathing slowly in and out through the nose. "30 more seconds. Slow, steady breath, staying calm. Even though we're feeling something strong, we can relax into it, just like life. So we live with ease, right? We're moving with ease. We're breathing with ease. May I live with ease." Okay, Now we're going to come forward onto the stomach, nice and slow. Try not to make any fast moves with your legs. Gently bring the knees back together and stretch the legs behind you. Let's place the arms by the sides of the body, palms up, if that's natural for your body, and just relax. Turn your head to the right if you can, and just let go. Now take a few breaths in and out of your belly. This is diaphragmatic breathing as well. Pushing the belly into the earth softly. Good. Now bring your right knee up so it's facing kind of out to the side like it did in frog. You can bend your arms if you like. Turn your gaze to the left if it's okay on your neck. And if it's not, just keep your gaze to the right. All right, now let's pause and go into our Sphinx and Seal. Then we'll do the other side of that posture. So let's get the elbows under the shoulders, rock the hips side to side. Hands can be flat or together, whatever feels natural for your arms and hands. Elbows under shoulders though for support. Now here you can let your head hang and maybe rock your chin like a slow motion pendulum. It might feel good just to be still. It's just listening, breathing. So this is our first back bend, very therapeutic for the lumbar, for bulging discs, any kind of low back pain. Always listen to your body. Your body is your teacher. Now, if you'd like to go higher, I want you to lock your legs, squeeze your bum, hold it. Hands are flat, shoulder width minimum. Lift the elbows off the ground. Make sure you don't bring your shoulders up towards your ears with this one. And then push through the hands, trying to pull the ribs away from the hips. Chest away from the ribs, chin away from the chest. Stay as long as it feels good. When you're done, turn your head to the left as you go down. Arms by your sides, palms up, no rush. And if you'd like to go further with the neck, bring the left knee up and turn your gaze to the right. You can bend your arms or keep them where they are. Remember, you can keep your gaze to the left if this is too strong. This is just a really good neck stretch, and it's passive. So really try to relax your whole body, especially your neck and shoulders, your face and jaw. Take those diaphragmatic breaths if you can. Just breathing low and deep. Okay, let's bring the legs together, hands under shoulders. Push yourself up to table. Bring your knees back to your blanket and sit back in child. So we're going to bring the hips back as far as they can go and then bow to our beautiful selves. So maybe your hands or fists are underneath your forehead. Maybe you're using a block instead for a little more support. You can always stay up on your elbows. Good. Taking a few breaths here, letting the whole body relax and really countering the back bend position with the lower back. All right, we're going to get to some footwork next. So we're going to sit on the heels if that's good for your body. But if it's not, please feel free to put a block or two between your feet. So we want to make sure the heels stay underneath the body. The toes are pointed back, bottoms of the feet face up. So this is stretching the ankle. So if the tops of your feet are tight, you might want to do 2 blocks like that. Okay, and then you can just sit on the edge of the block. So we want to be able to relax in the pose. That's the important thing here. So when we relax the muscle, the joint again takes on the pressure, whether it's the ankle, the knee, the hip, the shoulders, or the spine. So find your edge. Where is that place of sweet discomfort in this posture now? And stay still. Breathe in and out through the nose. Try to fill and empty like a glass. Now, if you need more sitting on the feet, you can lean back to stretch the quads more, the tops of the thighs. And if you need more, still, if it gets easy, you can lift your knees off the floor. That's going to go back and down into the ankles. So there are really 2 different stretches here for those of you that get into these 2 poses. Try to do both. Otherwise, you're just sitting and breathing, relaxing, and allowing your body to open naturally. Okay, we're going to work the bottoms of the feet next. So we'll come forward, wiggle the feet around a little bit. Rolling the ankles again. Then we'll turn the toes under and start to sit back. Find your edge. So you might need to be up here, right, away from the heels. Or if your knees allow and your feet allow, start to bring the hips back towards the heels. Keeping the hands on the floor is an option. Or you can climb your hands onto your thighs. Please do what feels good. You're here to take care of yourself. Nice steady breaths in and out through the nose. All 6 lower body meridians either begin or end in your toes. So we're stimulating all those lower body organs. Let's place the hands on the floor in front. Lift the knees up to this little squat and see how that feels on your ankles, your feet, your knees, your lower back. Even your calf muscles get a really good stretch here. Now, if this is too hard, you can stay where we just were, or you can rise up to standing early and just give me a moment and I'll be there to meet you in standing. So you can let your head hang here if that feels good. Maybe rocking your head around a little, letting gravity do the work. Okay, let's roll up to standing. Bring the heels down, maybe climbing your hands up your thighs to keep it nice and soft. So you're standing behind your blanket, right? Your feet are flat, just a hip distance apart from each other, something natural. All right, and then bend your knees, put your elbows on your knees and tilt the tail up. Now this is only going to be a 3-minute hold today. We can't do all long holds in our class because we'll run out of time. But we'll have a second forward fold in our later 30 minutes after we get through this first hour. So feel the hips rising like they did in cow stretch, right? Like this. I want your tail to tilt up a bit. So we don't want to tuck the tail under because that's kind of, we're avoiding getting into the hamstrings. Just bend your knees more, right? Move around a little bit. Bring your weight back towards your heels, right? That might help. You might want to straighten the knees more or even let your body hang forward, holding opposite elbows. So let's keep breathing. Slow, steady breaths. Now we're working on the urinary bladder channels that go all the way down the back body from the neck to the heels. You can move your head yes and no if your head is hanging free. If you're dizzy at all, just hold your head up. You'll be okay. It's a short hold today. So you can rock your head slowly, yes and no in this pose, if that feels good on your neck. Saying yes to your life, yes to the possibilities of this class, you regaining flexibility or becoming more flexible, not just physically, because it doesn't work that way. We have to be mentally flexible too. You can shake your head no, say no to negative thoughts, judgments, resistance to what is. Really accepting yourself right where you are. Yata Bhuta. 90 more seconds. Keep breathing. You're also welcome to bring your hands behind your back, interlacing your hands right at the sacrum. You could stay there or lift the arms towards the sky to get another shoulder stretch, similar to our reverse table. So maybe reverse table was too strong, but you could do that pose instead for the same movement of the shoulders. Good, nice steady breaths, 1 minute. All right, now we're gonna crawl forward to table and then to child's pose to take a little rest. Placing your forehead on the block, the hands or fists or the mat. Just close your eyes. What do you feel now? Just notice without judgment. Good. Now, if you were practicing just for an hour, if that's all the time you had, you could pause here. Lay on your blocks in your back bend Shavasana, placing your block one sideways, one straight up and down. You could lay back and just let your body go for a few minutes. You could also lay flat on your back. But if you're ready for the rest of this class, we're going to go to table, start working towards our second spinal twist and our dragon pose. So let's come back to table, hands and knees, cats and cows, and start to move your body around a little bit at a time. Notice how it feels now as your body is changing, especially from the forward fold, back body stretch. Remember to inhale peace, exhale stress, let it go. Good. All right, so our second spinal twist, thread the needle. Let's bring the right arm up. Place the right arm right on the floor behind that left wrist. So don't drag it back by your knees because then your hips will sit back. We want the hips to stay right on top of the knees. So the back of the right arm is on the floor with the palm up. And then just let your body rest for a few moments. We're going to be here for 3 minutes since this is our long hold class. So relax. Notice how it feels now in your upper back and shoulders. And if you need more, lift the left arm, thread it behind you, maybe reaching towards the top of the opposite thigh. You could use your hand in front of you to push down into the back of the right arm as well to increase the twist. Or even clasp your hands, interlace the hands, and see if you can straighten your top arm. Okay, let's keep breathing. Slow, steady breaths. In and out through the nose. Telling your mind no place to go, nothing to do. Right now you're practicing being present with yourself, for yourself today. So we're targeting this twist to the upper spine. It's called the thoracic, right between your shoulder blades. This can get tight from computer, kids, cooking, anything where you're having to hold your arms up, right? Driving. Just 30 seconds. Nice shoulder stretch. It definitely helps to improve the mobility of the upper back for driving itself. Just being able to turn and look over your shoulder. Now let's place the left hand in front of the face and sweep the right arm up. So we're just rewinding. So pushing the left hand down, reach the right arm up to the sky. That's a counter pose. Then we're going to counter the counter. Right hand down, left hand up. So getting an extra twist here for the upper spine, the ribs. Feel the stretch. Okay, and then let's switch back. This time stepping the right foot back to an easy version of side plank. So instead of having the feet stacked like we typically would in side plank pose, we have the left knee on the ground for support. Let the right arm fall back, a dangle. Notice how you feel. Good, so we're opening the front of the shoulder now. Now you can do what feels good with the arm, maybe reaching back towards the right foot, pulling the shoulder away from the jawline can stretch the right side of the neck. Or you can also bring the arm over the ear to get deeper into the waist. So more lateral movement. Keep on breathing, slow, steady breaths. Now we're going to step the right foot forward as we come back down to table. Big step forward with the right foot. And we're going to start with high dragon since we haven't done a whole lot of back bending yet. Let's bring the blocks under the hands and lift the chest away from the thigh. So we take a step forward and then we let the hips sink into it and then place a block wherever the hips stop naturally for support. So then we don't have to stress out the hands and shoulders holding ourselves up. All right, let's stay here for a couple minutes. We'll do 3 high, 3 low. And stop in the middle at baby dragon for a 7-minute hold again. This feels so good, right? And stretching the front of the left hip. This is the extension of your hip now. And we're getting into the hip flexors and quads in the left leg, the back leg. Front knee is over front ankle for safety, right? Lining up your knee over your ankle. And then trying again not to use the hands too much, not to stress out the shoulders. Maybe your elbow feels more comfortable resting against the right thigh. Good, nice steady breath in and out through the nose. Little compression across the lower back. Notice how it feels today. Then find your breath. Remember, we're trying to breathe smoothly in and out. Maybe it's a full breath, maybe it's 2/3. Just notice what feels good. We have 1 more minute here. Keep breathing. Keep tuning into what feels good for your body today. So this is developing our intuition as we learn to listen instead of just being in our thoughts. Work on your neck a little bit here for the last few breaths, maybe turning your head side to side, looking up to the sky. Now we're going to go to baby dragon. So we're going to lay the body on top of the right leg, hands on either side of the foot, and just stay for 1 minute. You can let your head hang or hold it up, what feels good. You can put a block under your left elbow. If you need room for your chest, just move your chest inside that right knee. Let's keep breathing, slow, steady breaths. Okay, let's place the blocks inside the front foot. So your blocks can be stacked, just like a frog, or sideways. Place them inside your foot and climb your elbows to your block. Walk your right foot over to the right a little bit, making room for the right shoulder. So front knee still over front ankle. We're getting more into the groin, more into the front leg now. So remember, it's 3 minutes, so keep breathing. Make sure it's not too strong. You can stay in baby dragon or go back there if it gets too strong. So this pose is excellent for improving your back bends in your other yoga practices, and just for relieving low back tension and sciatic nerve issues and things like that. Use your blocks creatively, your props. And that's our first minute. 2 more. Slow, steady breaths. I am happy. I am healthy. I am strong. Your body is listening and responding, and so is the universe. What are you thinking about yourself? Nice long breaths. We have just 1 minute left. All right, now we're going to straighten the arms and pull the hips out of the pose. Just pull the hips back to half splits. You can use your hands on either side of the front foot or have your hands on blocks if that feels good. And just let the head hang. Feel that line of energy from your right heel all the way up the back of the leg, back of the body to the neck. That's your urinary bladder channel on the right side of your spine, down the back of the leg. Now let's take it back to table, and we'll take a rest in child's just for a moment. And see if you can feel the difference between the tops of the legs. So we just stretched the front of the left hip for 7 minutes. So just notice that, the warmth that you're feeling there, just that that tissue is now more awake. Take some deep breaths. And let's rise again. Hands and knees, cows and cats, up and down, nice and slow. So move your body, feel your spine getting so strong now. Feel your hips getting nice and open. When the hips are open, we can move with more fluidity in our gait, in our walk, or whatever we might be doing today. Good. Now left arm's going to go up. Second side of your flow, left arm behind the right wrist this time, left shoulder down, left side of the face or head. And just relax there. Remember your hips stay over your knees in this pose, and it's 3 minutes. So it's a longer hold today. Typically we do 2 minutes in this posture. Good. So find your edge, get still, and breathe. Stay in the pose for the time. So if you need more, right arm can go up and behind. Right hand can push into the floor in front of you. You can push the back of the left arm into the mat too. Or you can clasp your hands and try to straighten both arms. Doing what feels good for you. Good. Relaxing the muscle again so the tissue of the joint takes on the pressure, getting stronger and healthier. Okay, 2 minutes to go. A few more breaths. Paying attention to your body today for this whole time. And then when you go out, you'll already have that awareness and be able to move more consciously, more presently in the world. Now, right hand in front of the face. Let's bring the left arm to the sky, slowly up. And just feel the counter stretch. And then switching your hands to counter the counter, just to get another spinal twist in for the upper part of your spine. Good. When you're ready, switch back, this time stepping the left foot back behind you for your easy side plank pose. So left foot's flat, the right hand's under the right shoulder, right knee under right hip. And you can just let your left arm rather drop back. That's going to open the front of your left shoulder. You can let your head hang. Remember, there's other positions for your arm. You can reach to the foot or over your head. What feels good today? Breathe and notice where you might be holding. Use your right toes behind you like a kickstand. You don't have to worry about falling backwards. Nice. Good job. Now, as you come back to table, just step your left foot through to the top of your mat. Big step forward. And then let your hips sink into it till you find a nice stretch. And you want your front knee over your front ankle, back thigh is at an angle. So take your block, put it in front of your back knee, and then get blocks under each hand. And lift the chest towards the sky. All right, remember it's 7 minutes total. Adjusting, whatever. Blocks under hands, elbow on the left knee maybe instead. Back toes can curl under or they can point. What feels better? And then choose it and then let it go, right? Stay present and breathe. Try not to second guess ourselves here. We're trusting our intuition, right? Which is usually the first thing that we do, what the body does without thinking. Good, nice steady breaths. So a little bit of a back bend here. A good stretch for the front of the right hip, releasing tension across that right side of the lower back. And then do what feels good with your neck if you're comfortable, right? You could even make circles slowly with your chin in each direction. Make sure you go both directions. You could also just drop your ear towards your shoulder on each side and hold for several breaths. Always doing what feels best. Just a few more breaths here, and then we'll go forward for our baby dragon. So if it ever gets too intense up high, go to baby dragon, just wait there. Okay, let's lean over that front leg, hands on either side of the foot. This is baby dragon, using the thigh for support. If you need room for your chest, just move your chest inside the right and the left knee. Place a block under your right elbow. Okay, let's stay here for 1 minute. Make sure you're breathing, slow, steady breaths. You can hold your head up or you can let it hang, what feels best today. It's always different, body's always changing. Find your breath. Okay, now let's place the blocks inside the front foot, putting the elbows down, whatever level you think is going to work. Walk your left foot just a couple inches out to the left to even out the hips and the weight on the elbows. Okay, 3 minutes. Let's breathe. So we're doing 7-minute holds in 3 of the 4 directions that the hips can move, with our outer rotation, our inner rotation, and now the extension. And we just did 3 minutes with our forward folding. And we'll end with another back bend. So lots of back bends, 2 spinal twists. Feeling the difference in your body. We have 90 seconds left. Keep breathing. Okay, now we're going to pull the hips back softly. Out of this pose, stay in your half splits, just bowing over your front leg. Remember, hands can be on the floor or on the blocks. And then feel that line of energy from the neck to the heel to neck. Just letting the head hang. Urinary bladder meridian on the left. Okay, let's take it back to child's pose again for a moment so you can feel both front of both hips are now nice and open. Just relax, just breathe. We'll have to wait for tomorrow's class to get in that second forward fold. Let's go ahead, find our way to our seat. We're going to place the blocks behind us, one sideways, one straight up and down. And we're going to end this with our Shavasana back bend. So block sideways goes right behind the chest. The one behind the head can be sideways or straight up and down, depending on your flexibility in your upper back. And then do what feels good with your neck, with your arms. Maybe your arms are just by your sides, palms up like Shavasana, beginning of class. Maybe they're stretched to a T, or even over your head if that feels good. We want to be able to relax and let the breath breathe us so we're not doing anything. This is Shavasana, the art of non-doing. So let's take a big breath in, a cleansing breath. Inhale. And now we'll rest for 2 minutes. Let your body go. Close your eyes. Let your forehead relax. Let your eyes soften back towards the sockets. Good. Let your cheeks and nose and ears relax. And then swallow to relax your throat, to moisten it. And then let your teeth part slightly. Just let your jaws relax. Good. Relax your tongue and the bottom of your mouth. And relax the roof of the mouth, the sky of your body. Maybe feeling a little tingling there. And let the rain pour from the roof of your mouth to the pelvic floor, the earth of your body. Just imagine this rain washing away anything that's not serving you in your life anymore towards your highest good. any old thoughts, ways of believing, any relationships that aren't serving you. Maybe it's a relationship with yourself. We can just let those old ways of seeing ourselves wash away. Let the breath breathe you. I am healthy. I am happy. I live with ease. Now, without moving, just softly begin to lengthen your breaths and feel this breath going in so much easier now that the body is relaxed and open, that your mind is more clear and focused. And then skim the thumbs across your fingertips and notice you can feel more, you're more sensitive. And stretch the arms up to the sky, back over your head, just letting the arms hang. Take a few more breaths. Maybe your arms are in a Y or a V, or you could hold your opposite elbows too, but feels good. And let's slide the feet flat and just let the knees fall over to one side. Let the body follow. So you're just landing in front of your blocks in fetal. And just rest there for a moment. Feel the earth. Notice you feel more grounded, more connected to the earth and to your body. And then push the hands into the floor and slowly rise up. Let's come to our seated meditation pose to close our practice out. So hands back to Anjali Mudra. At your heart center, bow your head forward to yourself for being here. Thank yourself for this gift of yoga today, for taking time to take care of yourself, body, spirit, and mind. Let's seal it in with an Om. Breathe in. Om. Remember, the light in you and me is the same as the light in all beings. See that light in yourself every day and try to see it in everyone you meet. Namaste. Have a good day.